Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Sure. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I run a Bobcat in a Box, which is a script that crawls the web for interesting products, and then we buy them for Bobcat in a Box subscribers. And the script came across your Etsy store.
bashopworks.
bashopworks.
Yep.
And is that tied into Tech Keys?
There is a tie-in, yes. So I am the proprietor of both of those those businesses. I have been running Tech Keys for quite some time now. Mechanical keyboards has been a hobby of mine, and I turned it into a business. And on Tech Keys, I provide all sorts of mechanical keyboard accessories and products and macro boards and things like that. And more recently, I started bashopworks, and I provide more woodcraft products that I make on my own. And I found this kind of happy medium in between the two of them, where I can build wood keyboard cases for some of those Tech Keys products that I have.
Yes, yeah, I saw on bashopworks you have like a standalone mute one key keyboard.
Yes.
Which I imagine pretty much everyone, in the world could use right now as like a,
Right. The idea for the mute key kind of obviously was stemmed out of the pandemic and all the Zooming and WebExing that people are doing. The one keyboard was a product before then, but I just had the idea of really focusing it on that application because I had a daughter that was in school remotely, and she was on Zooms all day long. And for her to find the mute button on the screen was a little bit more difficult. So I figured if we're having that issue, there's probably plenty of other people, both adults and children, that could use a single button to mute their Zooms and resume them. So we made a keycap that had the Zoom logo, the mute button logo on it, and kind of dialed in that product for that functionality.
Yeah, the casing looks very nice too. You have them in these sort of like wooden cases. It doesn't look like a
right. So that's the addition that we made with bashopworks. So manufacturing those on my CNC in my garage was a little bit of a challenge at first, but we kind of figured out all the details. Originally, those were all manufactured in aluminum, and anodized aluminum, which is a nice look as well. So there's really options in terms of, what type of look and style you're going for. The aluminum's a little bit heavier, chunkier. The wood has a very refined look to it. So different people kind of tend to go in different directions depending on their tastes.
Do you find people prefer the feel of the mechanical keyboard as opposed to sort of a traditional like laptop keyboard?
Absolutely. I think it's something that's starting to emerge as more common knowledge, I guess. 10 years ago, when I started kind of going down this weird rabbit hole of mechanical keyboards, it was more in the programmer, gamer, nerdy community. And as soon as I typed on one, I was just blown away by how tactile, how satisfying it is to hear and feel the feedback from typing on one. If you do like a Google Trends where you can see how many Google searches are occurring on mechanical keyboards, it's just a gradual incline over the last 5-10 years. I think more and more people are realizing that typing on chiclets on laptops or even cheaper keyboards that you'd buy in a store are just not the same experience.
Yeah, it's not the same feel.
Yeah.
I saw you have like a flocked keys also.
What's that?
You have on Tech Keys, you have like furry keys basically.
Oh, flocked keys. Yeah, that was a collaboration I did a while ago with, there's a community of people that are makers and keyboard enthusiasts, and I like to try and be present in those communities. And there was someone experimenting with that flocking technique.
Yeah. Well, also you had the Stormtrooper keyboard and the key and the nuke key, and like you have a lot of like fun keyboards, I guess.
Right. Yeah. All sorts of interesting accessories and ideas. Everyone likes to kind of express their style on a keyboard in a different way, whether it's one accent key or completely decking it out in different colors and styles. So I try to stock an array of different options and styles and themes and things that people might be interested in.
Yeah, so you had the like America color keyboard.
Yep.
And the Mutant Ninja Turtles keyboard, I think.
Yeah, I can share
color.
my screen if you'd like me to show real quickly for your viewers.
Hold on a second, let me do that. Okay, yeah, you can share your screen. Yeah, that one.
There we go. So I've got, this is my website here for tech keys, and kind of what you were mentioning, I have individual keys that things like Vegas dice or the nuclear symbol, Mario Brothers, all sorts of different things, you know, different video game references, and even some inside jokes with the sad key here. But the full sets offer you the ability to kind of replace all the keys on your keyboard. So you were mentioning the America set, where you can have kind of a full set of keys that kind of go into a theme there. But under my accessory section is where I have lots of the macro pads, and I've got, you know, things like these aluminum Stormtrooper, and I've got the 9, the 6, and the 1 keyboard options. Over on bashopworks is where I have things like the wood versions of those. So that's where I have the 6 keyboard and the 1 keyboard mute edition. These are a little bit more wrapped up, shrink wrap products that people can just plug in and go. And in addition to that, I have all my other wood creations that I've been making. The iPhone 12 MagSafe chargers have been very popular lately. A lot of people getting new iPhones have really liked this product. As you can see, a lot of people have that in their cart as well.
Do people need any special software for the mute keyboard?
No, not at all. That's what's great about it. The software, the firmware that runs on the keyboard recognizes itself to a computer as a USB keyboard. So you plug it in, and with the mute software, it's designed to be kind of permanent. It's pre-programmed to be a mute key. I do have a YouTube that explains how you could reprogram that without needing to know any programming languages. There's software that you could do it all kind of by drag and drop and reassign it to different things. Back on tech keys, I offer it with programmable software. So it still registers itself as a keyboard, you plug it in, but instead of being pre-programmed to mute, it allows you, the user, to program it to whatever you'd like it to be. So the process for doing that is you hold the key that you want to program for 5 seconds with a text editor open, and it types out all the instructions, and through a series of tapping and arrows, you can kind of cycle through all the options of A, B, C, D, F, G, and F1, F2, F3, and assign the macro, whether it be one key or a series of keys that you want to program it to. So what's great about that is you can onboard program it to whatever you like without having to flash the memory of the chip.
So you could you press the key and then it could go through a whole series of commands.
Yep, it's a little bit easier on the 6 keyboard or the 9 keyboard because there's more keys. On the 1 keyboard, it's a lot of tapping, but basically you kind of sort of like old VCRs, you tap through the alphabet till you get to the key that you want, and then you hold it for 2 seconds to go to the next character. And it's pretty straightforward and self-explanable, even though it does output the instructions on how to do it. So really anyone with no technical knowledge can program one of these devices to whatever macro they want it to be and reprogram it at a later point in the future.
What sort of, well, I guess, what do people use the 6 keyboard like for? What sort of macros or use cases have you seen?
All sorts of things. It's kind of interesting to hear what people use them for. I sell a little bit to businesses where they use them like in shipping departments for, you know, marking things as done. Gamers often will put a macro sequence for a game into that. I've seen people use them for complex passwords. It's a lot more secure than, you know, storing your password on your computer or writing it down somewhere. You can take it with you, plug it to any computer and tap it and it'll output your password. And then there's other things like the mute key application. With the 6 keyboard, you could do other things like, in addition to muting, you could You could turn your camera on and off and things like that. And then I also have found an application, another crossover between my woodworking and my keyboard business. For CNC machines, they require, you generally would use your keyboard to jog the machine in a different direction. And I made a special edition of the 6 and the 9 keyboard with custom keycaps for, controlling CNC machines. And that could be for milling machines or other computer controlled devices.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see how the having your password on that might be more secure than obviously like writing it down or having it just on one device, and then you have to worry about having it in the cloud somewhere.
And it's all on memory, so you can unplug it. It doesn't lose its programming, plug it into another computer. It's both Mac and PC compatible, which is great as well.
Very, very cool. Well, thanks again for taking the time. Where should people go to find your products?
Sure. So for all woodworking and the wood styled mute keys and 6 keyboards, that's all on Etsy at bashopworks. For everything technical and keyboard keycaps and more on the nerdy side of decking out your keyboard and keyboard accessories, that's all on TechKeys, TechKeys.us. TechKeys.us is where you could find all those things.
Perfect. Yes, and if anyone's interested in the our shopping robot, they should check out bobcatinabox.com.